Red Creek.
It's 10 o'clock, May the 9th. Hey, they're having district court downstairs and it's getting pretty tense, so they asked if we could kind of keep it down a little bit, you know, no loud outbursts. Where's Mr. Kelly at? No. I'm just joking. Yeah,
Going down that stairway.
A lot of the sound goes down that stairwell.
Take care of that, boy.
So, I'd like to say a prayer.
Yeah.
Father, first of all, we come to say thank you for the wake-up call we got this morning. Let the words of our mouth and meditations of our heart be pleasing unto you, Lord. Father, I ask you, Lord, to lead us, Lord, into this communion that we are in today, Lord. Let the decisions be made, Lord God, that you would honor. And Lord God, let us represent Newton County in a way that would honor you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Well, I felt something with that prayer. All right.
We have a quorum, and I'd like to acknowledge all the guests that are here and open it up to a public hearing if anybody has anything they want to discuss.
Mr. Price.
Mr. Price. Okay. Yeah. All right, Mr. Price, you'd like to speak?
Appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate what the county. I would ask that as you proceed to provide them a facility, that you require Hopeful Paws, either writing or otherwise, to commit to not process any future intake of dogs on Bacon Street, including the initial intake of those dogs.
Thank you, Mr. Price. Anybody else have anything? All right, I'm gonna close the public hearing, and we've got the consent agenda. Now, I don't know minutes from the previous meeting. There is a mistake on those, so we're just gonna hold off on accepting those until they can get those minutes fixed. We've got our monthly departmental reports. And we don't have any continuing education certificates that I'm aware of. Do we? What do we have here?
Going to be the next, oh, I don't have a copy of it. We just had. Let's see, monthly reports, and then there's two people in schools, and that's it.
Okay, I'm sorry. We have Library Association. We have Ms. Stephanie Ducote and Catherine Williams attended the annual conference. So we would need a motion to accept continuing education certificates.
Make that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner White.
Second.
All against? Motion's passed. All right. We got deliberate and consider action on the following items. Item number 1 is discuss petition to close Cottonwood Road in Precinct 3 from Travis Parker.
Yes, sir. Judge and Commissioners, I want to thank you all for your time. I think Ms. Rosemary is passing out the petition that was signed by, looks like members of the Precinct 3. Since we last met, I think Mr. Williams and I have done our due diligence to get the end of this road closed. If I come speak, if you has anything to say.
Well, just the background, to kind of refresh. I've owned property right here on Cottonwood since, between myself and my parents, since about 1990. Travis and I are the sole property owners that are affected by this 190-foot stretch of road. It's people that are sightseeing, they use both of our properties to turn around. It's become quite a nuisance. That's the background on why we're requesting to be able to restrict public access to this section of the road. Be glad to answer any questions if you have any.
Okay. The, the only thing I have about, reservations I have about closing the road is 30, 40 years from now, when different property owners, and it may stay in the same family, I don't know, but, someone coming back to, open this section of road. And then, but that was the only reservations I had. Mr. Fomby, Senior Precinct, do you have any?
Well, I mean, what are we gonna do about the rest of those dead end roads up there that are people are going their yards and driveways, just like they do on my road. I'm a permanent fixture there, like Darrell is. What do we do in the long range plan of, I hope that we're not saying that the people on my road, which it will be East Street, can get a petition to say we want to close that road also because of the amount of traffic that we have coming down our roads to turn around at the end of the road and in my driveway and my neighbor's driveway and the boat shed driveway, along with a lot more of those dead end roads up there. I mean, I just don't think that right now, in my opinion, that we should be closing any roads in a subdivision setting like we are up there. There's lots of people go down every one of those roads up there that dead end. A lot of those roads dead end to somebody's property. They have to pass our property to get to the dead end. So I just don't think at this time, especially in a subdivision, like that up there is, that's growing every day. People are moving in and out every day up there, changing hands, cleaning up, making better. I just don't think that that's what we should get into up there right now to leave it. It's on a growth span up there, and I just don't think it would be, and I don't think it would be right to the rest of our property owners up there neither. There's only a handful of us that live up there full time. Okay, we only have 3 or 4 bad weekends out of the year that we all suck it up. Okay. That everybody uses everybody's parking, everybody uses everybody's driveway, everybody uses everybody's land to get to the water. I just don't think we want to get into the situation of going and start closing roads and closing access to what those people come up there for, in my opinion.
All right.
Can I speak, Judge?
Yes.
I'm not asking to close everybody else's road. I'm asking to close our road. And to answer your question or your concern about the property switching hands, this property's been in my family since 1928, before the lake was ever even thought of. It's not going anywhere. Mr. Darrell and I, great friends. When he sells his property, it will become my property.
If I sell it.
If he sells it. Now, the road that we're talking about, 190 foot, is from here to the car down there. This is not multiple property owners, as Mr. Fomby's explained. This is 2, him and I. This is a problem not only with sightseeing, beer cans, little kids on 4-wheelers, all my property at the lake. It's not just a rosy situation. In fact, 4th of July, I invite some of y'all to come sit with me, and you'll see it. There's no need in it, 190 foot. I'm not asking to close every day. I'm asking to close mine. That's why we're.
This is more like a long driveway to us because we're the sole property owners. I'm on one side, Travis is on the other side, and at the peninsula at the end of the road. It's more of a driveway. than a county road.
So you're the only ones on that road?
Sole property owners.
I mean, coming off of the main road, the main
Yes.
road coming in there.
At that, there's a Cottonwood and Woodcrest. At that intersection, the 190 foot is beyond Woodcrest. That's the section that we're requesting to restrict access to.
I own about 4.25 acres and he owns about half an acre. So a total of about 5 acres there that we own.
Would it help if you change the county from a county road to a private road?
If we can restrict access, that's great. Yes,
Well,
sir.
if it's a private road, you
Yes,
can.
sir. That's whatever we can do to put a gate up is what we're asking.
Gate.
We're just looking for the best option to restrict the public access. We thought this was the process that we needed to go through, so.
The word subdivision, is there rules and guidelines, bylaws about closing roads or having access?
My property is not necessarily in a subdivision.
Not necessarily, well,
Yeah,
why you
but
say
because
necessarily?
the 4 acres is not part of the subdivision, only his part. My family owned all the property, sold it to developers in the 80s who came in and subdivided it, but they kept the peninsula out. Mine is not.
Where the roads are. Right, the roads that go to your property is part of subdivision.
The road that we're talking about dead ends prior to his peninsula that's gated off.
That's into it.
So I'm on one side on the corner, he owns the lot that's on the property on the other corner. Then peninsula is at the very end of the two of us.
This is a very unique situation. It's not, I understand your concern. I mean, I can see where it can get ugly. But I don't think that will come about because this is a unique situation.
You just leave them in. If you got a problem up there, that's the man you need to turn around and look at right back there. I can assure you he can take care of it.
Is there a dead end sign?
Yes,
So, yeah, we've asked for that.
Yeah, Commissioner Bobby had that put
He
up a year or so ago.
That's the one, your previous, when they come before, they had the pictures of the boats and the people parking.
And we also have dead end street signs on there, on most all them streets up there that no, there's just nothing you can do. I mean, I can't keep them off.
These properties, these two homes, are they both homestead? Do you live there?
No, sir, Lake House. It is too.
He's moving, he's moving.
So,
I live there the majority of the time, but it's not my homestead yet,
so neither properties are homestead properties.
not at this time.
This petition you brought forth, how do they play into these signatures?
All the people that signed this are residents in that neighborhood that know me and they.
The reason their signatures are on it because we went through the right steps, we thought, in order to get this road closed, with the help of Miss Rosemary and show me the codes and the state of Texas bylaws, in order to get the road closed, it calls for 8 signatures within the precinct. That's where you see the 8 signatures.
Those signatures are of people that have homesteads or the
Just
property.
the-
They're all property owners.
Within the precinct, as well as we also posted, and I have the copy of that here. 20 days prior, I went across the street to the ladies across the street, they put it on the board, they put it on the website. I went to Burkeville's post office, posted it there, as well as a restaurant over in Toledo Village. So I think we've done the right steps in order to get this closed. I hope we do get it closed.
I have had some calls about it, if that's what you want.
So Judge, we talked. Information, we had a situation in precinct 4. It's been going on for the last several years where we had a road that was, the property owner closed it without going through the property. Anyways, a long story short, we just got through that, and from all that discussion, we've been informed that there was a study done between 2008 and 10, that there's a book out there that outlines county roads, the length of those roads and what have you. And we're reaching out to the company that did that, Allison and Bass. A copy of that because we may have had one in precinct 4, but we flooded in 16, so our records are not as good as they could be. And so I just know that we've had some extreme difficulties with roads being closed, even by private citizens, and it's been a turmoil. So a couple of weeks ago, I sat silently when the road was closed because I couldn't say anything. But today, I share the concern that close has for the county, especially in an area where most of the residents are not permanent residents, if that makes sense. I personally would like to see the report from Allison and Bass and let the court look at it before we do anything else on roads. It's just my thoughts.
So basically, we're going to locate that road book that was Allison Bass. They had public hearings. It was voted.
Don't have a copy of it in your office, by chance? Because each commissioner got a copy.
I got a copy of mine.
You do? So, yeah.
KK's got a copy of it too. Where she's at?
Okay.
So I went to the clerk's office. They don't have a copy.
Well, then Courtney has a copy of it. They
So
have to be turned into the district.
yes, it has to be filed. So should we table this?
Are you talking about our?
No, not the road
No,
report.
this is not the road report.
This is the
So it's
official
something different.
road book for Newton County, all the
No.
county roads.
No, I don't have that.
You don't have that?
No, I do not.
I got a black one, but it's out of date.
So that's, it's a big, thick one, it's not out of date. Unless Commissioner's Court approves it not to be usable for the county, then it's in effect.
It's just not right. It's just not correct. But we've added a lot to it.
Added and took away. Since, I think,
So do we want to table this motion?
well, I think, correct me, but can't you put a gate up, but you can't lock a gate on a private road?
Well, we just went through that. Remember down there with you? I mean, right before you got there, at that person wanting to do that on that road down there, and we like to have a gunfight down there over that. Remember that there at that motor, big house down on the pipeline, or highlight?
Mr. Crombie, you suggested that in your. Put a gate up, use exact words, and I told you, I want to go through the right
That
process.
was a conversation if we could or could not do that, right?
You suggested to me, and I said, I don't want to get any lawsuit, of any wrong person, getting the gate, I want to do it right. That's why we're here, we're trying to do it right. I think April 11th, y'all closed the road. I don't know that that guy went through all this. I don't know, I wasn't here.
We didn't actually close it.
Oh,
Made it a private road.
well, if we make it a private road, can we put a gate up? If that. Can we put a gate? I'm happy.
It has, there's a transportation code concerning gates. Have to be a certain, meet the text dot requirements, at least 10 feet, and several requirements.
Well, see on 4007 at the school, they got a gate up on County Road. You cannot lock that.
Well, we went through Homeland Security on that.
That's fine, too. We don't have to.
Yeah.
block the gate.
I mean, that was the reason for that there.
Yeah, I mean, which I'm all for that.
We're allowed to put it up, and we can put a,
Just telling you, up there at Toledo Bend, I've already had phone calls about this. Costner was one of them. And there was I mean, I just don't think it's a good situation at Toledo Bend at this time to do that. It's just my opinion. I'm only one
May I
person.
ask you what the phone calls consisted of and why, the reasoning on that?
No, I'm not gonna tell you that. But there's been several phone calls to me after this.
about this road,
I don't understand.
understand what business it is of
We're
anybody
going
else.
to get in, we're gonna get in a situation up there where they're gonna be coming to us, blocking those roads.
Mr. Porter would like this from Cleveland.
Thank you, Judge. I'm Pete Porter. I'm the fire chief at Toledo Bend. Whatever decision is made, I don't care. My concern is that we have access. In March, we had a fire on that property. Set the bulkhead on fire and it burned about 100 meters of shoreline. So my concern is that whatever gain access quickly, easily, because you're surrounded by houses in that area. And that's what, if it gets away from it, it's a large area to contain.
And
So that's my concern, that, you know, we make sure we have access,
Yes,
whatever
sir.
happens.
You
But
will.
I actually have cameras, security cameras that look at that, and as soon as I saw your trucks, Mr. Cox, as soon as I saw back and forth, I knew it was a problem. I called them and y'all got immediate access.
And the problem with that is the pictures I provided for y'all a month ago shows a resident in front of my gate restricting access to our property. That's the problem. And that's multiple accounts that that's happened. And this can all be prevented. He can have a key to the gate. He can have the lock and lock. Gate combinations 3637. If y'all want to go on it, call me. Y'all can go on it. It's just vacant property. I'm not asking to be a bud here. I'm asking just to close a 190-foot strip.
Are your concerns with precedent? Is that what you're concerned that if we close this road, then we're gonna be closing every road?
Absolutely. I just don't think that subdivision up there is set up, I don't think it was ever built for that to be in place up there. And like I said, what about the people coming to my residence also?
I would think if you got a petition signed and you did the right procedure, then.
I don't want to do that, I don't want to do that, I don't
You
want
don't have to worry about it.
I don't wanna
If you
allow
want the
that.
road closed and you're a property owner, your road's not gonna get closed. If you read the bylaws, it has to be agreement of all property owners. And we are.
That's us. I don't think we're talking about.
If you're on the road and you don't want to close, that's not getting closed.
So I think, for me, as Commissioner, and it's not my precinct, but just thinking about it, it's not what you gentlemen have done or what you've not done. It's all about what the 5 members of the court do. So anytime we vote, we may or may not set precedent. So we have to be mindful of that. And I'm just speaking for myself, being new to the court, I'm trying to learn as we go along. And the thing that the sheriff, the judge, the county attorney, 2 weeks ago with the road closure in precinct 4, it was an enlightening experience that I hope not to have again. I understand your desire, but at the same time, as a court member, I'm leaning toward the concerns that fellow commissioner has about setting a precedent for a subdivision and all of the. I just wonder if I'm sitting here today and I vote to close this road, what right do I have not to vote to close every road that somebody shows up saying we all agree to close the road? Before long, you're not gonna be able to go into the subdivision to Toledo Bend.
Can I ask what the difference in what we're doing today or what we're requesting today, what's the difference between that and what happened in like a road, a private road? What's the difference here? I don't know where
It's
that,
not a subdivision. I knew that for a fact.
I don't know where that road is.
Well, it's in out in the rural area. It's not a subdivision.
So the road was in a rural area. You had one full-time resident, and it's basically a loop, couple 100-foot loop off the highway. That they had basically the same issues that y'all are having. There were people coming down the road.
I mean, I'm satisfied if we go to a private road, we're allowed to put a gate up and no water. That suits me. That's perfect. That's what you initially told me a year ago at Mr. Weeks' office.
We just don't want any liabilities, if we don't do this right, I mean, we don't want somebody coming back if a kid runs through a gate or a chain or whatever and hurts themselves, but we do this properly. why we showed up at the Commissioner's Court a couple of months ago, why we went through this process after we got the written guidelines. How to do it the proper way. I guess I just really don't understand why it's a big issue with just two property owners, with no other access from this 190 foot to anybody but us.
It's not just your property. It's just not your road. It's all the rest of those roads up there too.
Are you having requests for all the rest of the road?
No, I'm not.
Do you want your road closed?
No, I do not.
And it won't get closed. We want our road closed.
I know, I realize that. But I just don't think it's court. I'm not into closing roads. Percent three elected me to not close a road. Matter of fact, we've got some opened up here lately that I've aggravated some people over. I think when we went out and we've done this private road versus county road, I think the people really didn't understand what was going on, but it was never, I don't think was ever pointed towards a subdivision like it is in rural areas. Subdivision bylaws are totally different than rural America, county roads and private roads. It's just not. We would just close it at Hickory Hill and not let anybody in there that didn't own a house in there. Or Tall Timbers or Klossner or Dawn or Quail Drive. We just not allow anybody in there at all if you wasn't a property owner.
And what you just said is exactly what I'm sitting here thinking. I have in-laws that have property in that, and if all of the people that have property inside past that state highway say, we want to do the same thing y'all did, we all ran. We close it, we can close it every bit. That's right.
I guess my question is, can I put a gate and then the lock off? Consider it private road, not close it, consider it private road. Mr. Fields?
Still the same thing. Still the same.
Judge, I'd like to make the motion that we agree not to close the road in question and keep it open.
Motion made by Mr. Powell. Anybody want to second that motion?
Wait, I second the motion that we don't close it. We can't close the road. I think the private road is a different issue. We'll have to put it on the agenda to make it a private road.
So that's what my next step needs to be.
Yes, I mean, that's the only option that I would consider. As far as in the subdivision, from everything I've heard, you go from the setting of precedence all the way down to, it being part of a subdivision or right next to a subdivision. All of those things that we discussed draws a red flag in my opinion, as far as closing the road. Now, if you want to approach it from the private, that's a different issue. But I just couldn't quite digest that because I know I've never closed a road. Really, there's something in the bylaw, in the transportation code that say once a county road, always a county road.
Yes.
All right, motion's made by Commissioner Powell, seconded by Commissioner White, not to close the road, but you can come back, put it on the agenda to make it a private road.
And or seen the road, I'd ask y'all to drive over there, visit it. It's going to be on the agenda, I hope, next meeting. And Mr. Field, you do the same, and you will see exactly what Darrell and I are talking about.
Okay. All in favor?
Not to close.
All against? All right, motion not to close the road has passed.
But before we get off of it, I understand, I appreciate that. So, in the interim, if we put up no trespassing, continue to have people turn around in the property, will the county sheriff's office address that for us? If we have videos?
Yes.
I would ask, how many times have you called the sheriff? How many times have you called the sheriff's
We
office?
went through this process instead of calling the sheriff.
No, I mean, they're on your personal property. Don't have anything to do with the road, but on your personal property, throwing garbage out and so forth and so forth. How many times have we called the sheriff's
We
office?
call zero because,
Okay,
and listen, because I don't live there. I don't want enemies there. This is
Okay.
why I'm going with this. You start calling the sheriff who vandalized your property when you're not there.
But I actually did call Newton County. It was before Sheriff Birdie was in place. I called them because a neighbor parked his fifth wheel trailer in the same place. No signs, no phone numbers, no nothing on it. I got the license number, called the sheriff's office. They looked it up, somehow found the owner and got it moved. So I appreciated that, but yes, I did call Newton County Sheriff.
what it looks like to me, if you hadn't called the sheriff, so you really don't have any, I mean, I know you got of anything going on after
But that's my question. If I have video proof that they're trespassing after we put up no trespassing signs, will it be addressed from the sheriff's office?
Let's get something clear here. We cannot put no trespassing signs on the road.
On my property.
On the property is fine,
Yeah.
but the sheriff cannot do anything about a person coming down the county road.
Yeah, I don't mean on the road.
Yeah, I
I'm
just
talking about
want to
where they're
clarify
turning
that.
around
Yeah.
on our property.
I just want to clarify that.
Sure.
For the record.
Sheriff, do you? I know I put you on the spot here.
No, you're not putting me on the spot. Just cause normally what we try to do is try to work with because it's talking about people who live down there, most for the most part. Try to appeal to the neighborhood neighbors. Help with them. If not, and to verify if you're trespassing warning, and they come back, you got video evidence or other evidence that, you the one when they do it. That's how it goes.
All we're asking is
We understand. All right. All right, thank you.
We will put on the next agenda to make this a private road.
We're not making that suggestion, we just, because that's for them to do. We're not telling them what to do.
Right.
and we will do that. Is there another process that we have to go through? Like we did today?
Turn in a request.
Just the request to put it on the agenda?
Okay.
We'll follow up with you, outside of this board, if that's what we need to do.
Could be right.
We can do that.
All right, we've got item number 2, is discuss and if appropriate, approve the first supplemental interlocal agreement between Newton County and the city of Newton, Texas. Landon?
Yes,
Come on.
this first one, this is just for that building out there at, we're looking to try to lease that from y'all, to hopefully find a long-term solution for the dog situation. We're having issues on Bacon Street, the dogs in the community, and as of right now, we would like to get that, put those dogs on Bacon Street onto that, in that building out there, the old prison. Now, whether we stay with them or we're ultimately looking for a long-term solution, and I can't tell you if it's going to be them or not. We're not going to allow them to take in any more dogs at this time. Local laws, we're just trying to get them to get their dogs out of the neighborhood. And time we get them gone, we're gonna hopefully have a long-term solution. So that's what this interlocal agreement says.
And basically, it's one of the, I guess, possibly women's dormitory that was in the back of the
Yes.
prison, inside its own fence.
If it passes, we're gonna go, the city's gonna buy their own kennels and put in there, and not allow them to put any of their stuff in there. It'll just basically let them come in and house their dogs until they can get them gone. And then we're gonna look for a long-term solution to try to fix this problem. But we're gonna put the pins in, so the city will own everything in that building. Don't have to worry about them trying to get their stuff out or in, or anything like that.
I have a question, Judge. And we have some experience here in the room today, but don't we already have an interlocal agreement between the city and the county?
Well, that's what this second one is. And I found it back in October, but I could never find if it was done or not. So
It was.
I thought it was.
It was.
Okay.
We never could find the signed copies, so
Okay.
that's the reason it's back on the,
Okay.
Yes, sir.
we never could find the actual signed copies.
Right.
So that's,
Can we ask questions?
yes, you can ask.
Is the city going to be keeping an eye on that?
Yes. So this will be solely our deal. We're not gonna let somebody come in there and run it. The city's gonna have an eye out on it. It's gonna be basically our deal. They're just gonna be housing some stuff there until we can get some stuff figured out.
And we're gonna have set hours to do that, and we're gonna have daily inspections, and
Yes, sir.
we're gonna have all of that. We're not gonna have a mess, right?
No, sir. Not at all.
Oh, you're gonna have a mess, you fill it up with dollars.
No, I understand.
Yes, no, I understand. Somebody leaving out and
But
leaving.
somebody's gonna tend to it, what I'm asking.
Yes.
Okay,
So what we're talking about and what's on the agenda is two different things.
I know.
I mean, we're
Yes.
kind of getting into so an interlocal agreement allows the judge and the city manager to work together
Yes.
and utilize county buildings to do what they need to do, right?
Yes.
That's right.
But, he just wanted to explain,
Okay, not trying to shut him down, I'm just
he
making
just
sure.
wanted to explain what that building was gonna be.
We're not talking about a dog pound a day, we're talking about an interlocal agreement. You leave out of here.
You do what you want to do. But also too, Bubba, we also have one with the Louisville School, the middle school, and the Burkeville School also. Or we did.
Yeah. Well, just like this one, we could not find the signed agreement.
Okay.
So the attorneys advised that we go ahead and do another one to make sure we have one on file. That way, if anybody asks, here's our copy. So,
Is there any county that don't have one that has a city in it? I mean, everybody has one.
so I just, need a motion to approve the interlocal agreement between Newton County and the city of Newton. Motion is made by Commissioner Pomby,
Second.
second by Commissioner Powell. All in favor? All against? Item passed.
Thank
All
you
right.
very much.
Thank you, Landon. All right, we're going on to item number 3. Discuss and if appropriate, approve interlocal agreement between Newton County. Well, it's the same thing. All right. Item number 4 is discuss and if appropriate, approve resolution to recognize May 14th through May 20th, 2023 as National
Yes, Commissioner, this is just want to put in the record that National Police Week 2023. Just give you some background on it. President John F. Kennedy marked the tree signing May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the week encompasses that date as Police Week in 1962. Many police assembling in Washington, D.C. for congressional parade exercises regarding the individuals who have made the ultimate final sacrifice. Each May, National Police Week is observed. This year's commemoration is observed Wednesday, May 14th through Tuesday, May 20th, 2023. National Police Week respects police who have given their lives in the line of obligation. Many gatherings have solidarity procedure American police during National Police Week allows police to be regular citizens to meet up and honor the individuals who have given their lives in the line of duty. The 7 days of May 11th through the 17th are assigned as National Police Week. 35th annual Candlelight Vigil will be held at the National Law Enforcement Memorial and Museum recently added to the memorial. It's in DC, and I've attended it before, and it's a very solemn place. And if you're ever in DC, please go by it. So that's what I'd like to read into the record.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sheriff. All right, I need a motion to approve the resolution to recognize May 14th through May 20th as National Police Week.
I make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Commissioner Benson.
Aye.
All against? Okay, item number 5 is discuss issues with jail facility such as overcrowding and dispatch equipment needing replacement. Sheriff, that's you again.
Amen.
Thank you, Judge. Again, coming to you today, talk about some issues in the jail. I'm from the Sheriff's Office. Currently, we have 17 folks here in Newton County Jail. Now, we're capacity is 12, but we have a variant. The drunk tank issue. We also have outsourced inmates in Hardin County and Jasper County at a price of $40 per inmate per day. We have 2 in Hardin County and 7 in Jasper County. This also caused us being the Sheriff's Office, to go to and from those locations, taking inmates not ferrying across this great state for various reasons, and that also caused a drain on our manpower. A lot of times we do not give a lot of notice on these things, and we do not have any wiggle room. We have time constraints to meet, so we're doing that. And for the facility itself, you all know that this facility is dated, it's antiquated. Doing fire watch because the alarm system is out again. This is the second time in about a year that we have to do that. Fire watch is defined as they have to make their rounds every 15 minutes or so and log it in. There's other things that complicate the jail with the surveillance system. Surveillance system and the court. Too loud. I had that. The surveillance system is hooked to dispatch. Been trying to get those cameras fixed where we can see the courthouse over there, and that would drastically help in increasing our security as well. Well, they're not working. There has been some quotes submitted for that, but not been acted on. As well as a few cameras in the jail that needs to be replaced. The system be dated, and anytime that we do work, and I am not here to be humorous or be a wise ass, use expression, but anytime we are fixing that stuff, we're not doing anything to just putting a Band-Aid on the gunshot wound. Okay, it will break again. Okay, and that's what's going on. Safety is always paramount for us, for the inmates as well as our personnel. So we ask that these things be looked at. Jail, I can say many different things about that, but we need to start doing something because we don't have an end game in place. If it does, I'm unaware of it. Because this is only going to get worse as the population increases. We see good folks moving in here every day in Newton County. I'm meeting around by. But when good people come to your county, bad people follow them. Okay? We got people that's in jail. We don't have people that we can just let out. These are knuckleheads who need to be in there. Okay? We don't have inmates that we can take out and do the lawn work, per se, like we used to be. Those are Class C violators. Those are very mild people like traffic tickets and fines and that. We don't have that. We got minimum and we got maximum people in there. We got hard. If we take them out to do some work, if they will do any work, you need someone to guard them. Okay? So that defeats the purpose. That's why you don't see them out there working. God knows if I had those folks, their behinds would be out there working. We don't have that. Okay? If you look at our roster, you know, those people in there have done some things to be in there. Okay? We got people who are in there for parole and probation violation. That takes time to go through the process. Okay? They've done things to be violated that they need to be in there. And I am not one. We don't open the door on inmates. Do the crime, you need to atone to them. So.
Well, you also have some in there that's waiting on a state jail bed. Tell them about the mental patients.
Again, and going to preparing for inmates who have to be evaluated on see if they're competent to stand trial. I felt like I was running in the middle of this institution because there's 3 of them that we got letters for that's waiting to be mentally evaluated. And I got one that's already been evaluated, and he's number 828 on the list to go to a hospital. So that complicates the matter. It complicates the matter. Security for the inmate as well as our personnel deal. They have issues.
Well, being number 828, you're going to house them a minimum of 1.5 to 2 years before a bed becomes available to the state.
That is correct. That is correct. So that is the key. The next thing that I had a visit from a radio person from Lupton, but our dispatch computers, they're about 20 years old. And them, I guess it costs about $1,800, I think, but he also informed me and gave me a quote for them to be replaced. There's options that we need to look at on getting those things replaced because they have just about reached the life cycle. And you and I know 20 years is a long time for computer systems. One of those things I would like to bring about for sheriff's offices. For some reason or another, they done jacked the prices up to the vehicle. One vehicle, a F-50 truck, let's say a 1,500 pound half-ton truck, is almost $50,000. And that's without all the bells and whistles. That is ridiculous. Right? So with that said, we have already opted to go to a lease purchase program, which after 3 years we own the vehicle. Because if not, the way our budget is set up, we can only get a vehicle a year. So we do have 2 vehicles on the ground, and they're waiting to be all rigged and everything. So we're moving forward from last year's budget on that. So, but that's something that we have to be visionary and look forward to see what we're approaching to. These are things that we need to plan for, that we're planning for, and everything. Things that cost more money. Another problem we have is I was told that the Louisville Tower is down, condemned. No one will work on it. You're familiar with that?
It's red flag. It's basically too dangerous.
Yeah. So that complicates radio, and which leads me to the way our communications are working. For most part, we use our cell phones and the radios, but sometimes important where you're at, the radios will not work. The radios will not work. That's a scary. It's also, we got to a point that because of the tower situation, we are not able to use our handheld at all. The handheld walkie-talkies, we don't use those. We have to go with the cell phones. Cell phones have been good, but we changed to AT&T, and my guys got second cell phones, and for the most part, they work some places, but for the most part, they use their own cell phone. So we need to look at that coming up this budget year on what we're going to do on that. What's the best economical thing to do, as well as interoperability to do. There is a move afoot on the tower. I went to a meeting before I took office a few years ago about more towers where we can get all connected in East Texas, and that just has not happened. It is a big ticket item. I know state and federal help on that. I haven't heard anything lately on it, but we need to get on it at some point. We got to fix this stuff. We got to fix this stuff. Everything, kicking the can down the road just doesn't work. It's going to get to a point where we're going to really need it bad, and we're not going to have it, and then they're going to start looking at all of you. They always look at me, I'm sure. So why didn't they know this? So we got to start doing our answer. We got to get it done. So, that's all the bad stuff that I have, but it's necessary stuff. And I'm willing to work with each of you and prepare my comprehensive report on this, where you can see all the numbers, because I know y'all like me, you don't want to see it on paper. We can have it. Any questions, Judge?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you turned in quotes. Quotes have been submitted, but nothing has been acted upon, is what you said.
On the surveillance system.
When was those turned in?
It's
Not this year.
not by you guys.
Okay, so
And that's what I was going to get you to give me some quotes on the surveillance system and what it's going to take. Quotes. Let's see what it's going to take to get that going. Now, there is a little ongoing work on the tower. trying to get some new towers. I will tell you that, but it's not off the ground yet. So,
So I guess as a commissioner, I'd like to see the quotes that's been submitted for the things you talked about, being new to the court. I'd like to see those. And also you mentioned the towers in precinct 4. So a little bit about that. I'm friends with the firefighters that work with the peace. We've got a very, very good fire department. They have all expressed concern to me as a group. They said that these deputies down here, when they leave their car, they have no way of communicating with Newton SO other than by cell phone. And if you go to AT&T, that will not work in precinct 4, anywheres that I know of. I mean, it's just don't have any communication. So I'm sitting here and we often talk about, we need to do this, we need to spend money here, we need to spend money there. And I will tell you, when it comes budget time, and I'm on the soapbox, come from a long, got to do, make our sheriff's department successful is what we need to do. We need to cut out here and cut there and do without. That's what we need to do. I mean, I just want you to know I support your department. I'm willing to do. I will roll my sleeves up and do whatever I need to do. And I feel like we all will.
And we're not trying to get them fancy and everything. We just trying to be adequate, functional, and everything. So that, like I say, we, in law enforcement, we operate each day on God's blessing. We go out, we don't know. I leave home every day. I don't know if I'm going back. I'm gonna try I'm gonna try hard to get back, but what I'm saying is, we lay it on the line, we take it, we burn it, everything, and we should not let any kind of mechanical stuff or something like that stop us from getting home tonight,
So Sheriff, first responders, it's changed over the years now. Trained not to wait on backup, to go in, correct?
That's correct.
So if they go into Deweyville School, how do they communicate with the sheriff's office?
If they go in,
They don't have a handheld, do they? They can't communicate.
Yeah.
So just think about where Rhonda Ruiz is. When she leaves that car and she goes into that school, she has no way of communicating with other peace officers or anyone else on the ground.
once we operate on instinct, training.
Right.
How long has it been since our walkie-talkies didn't work, Sheriff?
No, it's been years. 2 years is what the firefighters told me.
Since I've been here, I had one, I first got here, I could ever get it to work.
is the repeaters down?
What the firefighters told me is the Deweyville Tower is down. It's been condemned. No one will work on it. They can't. I said, why don't we use a lift? They said, we can't reach it with a lift. And they got a lot of passion around this, and they're concerned for the deputies that work down in that area. They said, just can't communicate.
So the tower right on your shoulder?
All of them worked hard, get someone to go up on that tower, they finally got someone to go up there, I don't know who it was, I think he was, just one of them fielders guys, field those around, went up there and got it going somewhat, but, I was told, I think a week or so ago, that it's gone.
Sheriff Burby, didn't, Mr. Bain used to have some, satellite phones?
I have not seen any.
I thought he
I have
had,
not seen any.
I thought he had some for emergency management.
I don't have one.
Is it, do we need to get so it's hurricane damage, you say?
From what I was told, it may have been damaged to the.
Yeah, I was told that with that little house got flooded and it got corroded and it just went downhill from there since that last flood happened.
Maybe.
So if we get that back up and running down there, is that something that will make your system go back?
There is an alternate plan about putting another tower somewhere between, I want to say, Old Salem Court. Kind of like a booth or something. radio talk that was supposed to enhance, our flexibility. So, we'll have to pull those plans out last 6 months. So I haven't heard anything about radio. Only thing I got.
Is the antenna gonna fall? Is the antenna gonna fall?
I've told you everything I know about it.
Antenna gonna fall?
That's basically what I know about it. It's radio.
Firefighters, when they're telling me is, they can talk hand to hand, on their walkie-talkies, they've got a different system. So I'm just, whatever we can do as a court, if we've got to spend money, unbudgeted money, do whatever, budget amendment, to get those officers a radio that when they jump out of the car, and it wouldn't matter if it was precinct 1, 3, whatever it is, but when the officer jumps out of the car, because we're so far apart, be able to, a lot of times, the people that's gonna be helping them may be a firefighter, maybe, they may be.
I know Jack who put a new tower up, and I'm not sure what the status on it is.
Well, they're not under that time anymore.
I know.
They broke away, I have not. From that scheme, I'm not up with it because we're not under them like we used to be.
We can get to the top of that antenna.
Okay, I'm with you, even if it's in a basket with a crane.
Okay.
Yeah.
If that's all we need to do to get to the top of the antenna, that's a phone call. More than that.
I think it's the worker, the person to go up there to repair it.
So as I understand it, the tower itself is condemned, and they cannot, anyone go up and be on it because it's,
I understand it.
it's unsafe to be on. That doesn't mean it's about to fall, but it's unsafe for a person to be
So
on.
we just need to run somebody up to the top of it and get our stuff working, correct?
At a minimum, we get handhelds that the sheriff's comfortable that, hey, if you're within a mile or 2 miles or 3 miles of your coworker, you can talk. Well, I don't know what we need.
Yeah, we, like I said, the handheld has been something that almost is none of this.
But you're gonna have to have the antenna, right, to make the.
Not the handhelds.
You're gonna have the antenna and a repeater.
Yeah.
Not for a Band-Aid handheld. We talk about getting something right now to where if they're up there to.
We went to our FirstNet. We got FirstNet on our phone, but it don't always work either. Push to talk.
I'm just talking about if we need. If 2 or 3 of your deputies jump out and surround the school, they can talk around the school with each other.
Okay. Any other questions?
What about a new jail? What about a new jail?
Well, yes, we need to start working on it. We do not have any kind of plan, none that I'm aware of. Only thing I can tell you, I need like hell a new jail. Do that, Brian? Yeah. And, really need to start moving forward. Now, this is the deal. Right now, we're dealing with Hardin County, Jasper County. They did we'll deal with about $40 a head per day. That's good. We have to go somewhere else. It's not going to be cash. And we're going to have to just about pay what they ask us. And we have to go where they are.
Well, I seen last year, the city of Beaumont Jefferson County was charging them $80 annually.
Yeah. And so. I said, and I know the first time I went, and then the old prison always is something, you don't have to cross that hurdle one way or another. I first went in there and I said, if I have a couple of inmates, I come in here and clean this thing up. I couldn't lay the wire or nothing like that. Remember that? Because it's sound. It is sound.
I think we
Phase one.
ought to be doing that right now as we speak.
Phase one.
Well, you talk about, it's more than just the cost of making some notes here, and I'm not saying that we're operating unsafely. I know you're not gonna let us do that. Just because the fire alarm does it, that's an issue. So the cameras don't work. There's another issue. So if we have an event in this jail, and we've sat here and known about it, not acted on it, and I'm not casting stones, I'm talking about today and going forward. you know, we're accountable.
Have you contacted Fire Code about the fire alarm?
Yeah, parts supposed to be used. But, you know, it's been down where you took off. You know,
Supply chain, getting parts for this.
because the equipment's so old, they don't make that stuff anymore.
Well, I thought we updated the fire alarm. We didn't update the fire alarm?
Well, obviously not, because it broke. Remember we fixed it last summer? And then,
We didn't update the fire alarm in the whole place?
no, I don't recall it being updated.
Why
I know we had a piece that was, ordered in last summer, but that's not it. So,
I thought we updated the whole fire system. Didn't you, Phil?
Can't remember. I know we did some repairs on it.
We did, yeah, Tommy did some repairs, but he had updated none of it.
So when are we gonna start budget workshops, Judge?
At the end of May.
Gun packing. Gun packing.
you know, hey, the saddle is already saddled on the horse.
Well, like you said earlier, though, we need to see it in ink. We need to see priority. To me today, a priority is getting a radio system in precinct 4. Forget the budget, let's get it. I mean, somebody's got to spend some money.
Fire alarm, that's number one.
Yeah, well, this is our first call. Let y'all know, that's why I come up here. I'm
Yeah.
not demanding, I'm just informing. Get to work. Okay?
Appreciate
Yes, sir.
that.
So how do we make it happen, Judge? I mean, he's gonna leave and we're gonna walk out and it ain't gonna be on an agenda item, so I mean.
No, we're gonna take it.
Workshop.
Start working on it.
We'll put them
Well, if the fire alarm is fixed, we can talk to somebody else.
Well, he said they waiting on parts. I'll just mess with you on that.
We don't need to do anything about that, right? Just another.
No, not, we don't have to do anything. Just know, we got work to do. All right, item number 6 is discuss and if appropriate, accept Newton County Public Library's annual report for fiscal year 2022. Ms. Stephanie?
Hard ass call.
You should have a copy of it, is our annual report. It's a brief copy. I didn't bore you with all of the real copy that we submitted. It just, I should have one that looks like this. Yeah. So it just basically is the bullets of the report. We are required each year to participate in an annual report that we submit to the Texas State Library. We gather information all year long. Each commissioner's report, commissioner's meeting, I submit a report, and so it gives you a lot of our statistics that we do each month. And so then at the end of the year, we compile all of that and then submit it to in our report. They were a little bit behind this year opening up the portal for us. It's normally open in January. We didn't get into it until March, and so we barely made the cutoff for the end of April, but we on determination if we make the accreditation requirements. We have been accredited for 32 years, and I'm hoping that this is not the year that changes. But I believe that, fully believe that we have the correct documentation and that everything is where it should be. So I don't know if you need me, I don't need to read that to you. Probably it'd be like a preacher reading a bulletin in the church you can read. So, but if you have any questions after looking at it, I would be more than happy to answer.
I need another report. I can't seem to find it.
Yeah.
There was something on the back. It's your basic information. It gives you information on how many people we have coming through the library doors, what our collection amounts to our books, our DVDs, our audio books, our programs that we do. We're connected to several different courses with Tri-County applications. We go into the village daycare, we go into the Head Start, we have children's reading time at the library. We're gearing up to host our summer reading program, so we're trying different ways to be involved in the community, and I feel like that we've got a good step and a good foot in the community. So. I will say that eventually, hopefully, we our budget this year, and we had to close our Deweyville location down to 8 hours a week. That is a big cut for us. We were at 29 hours. We don't have a book budget also for that either, so we're kind of low on that. But eventually, I would like to be able to open that up a little bit more to that community and give those services to them also. But that was just part of the unfortunate budget cut that we got into. So.
Do you track the hour?
We do not have that. He could tell you, he could probably keep up with it, but those that are on that one right there are actually what we have, our door count for us.
Yeah. The reason I'm asking is, you know, we're coming up on budget workshops, and I'm in and around that office a bunch, and I just don't see anyone visiting.
Well, he's only open on Tuesday mornings and Thursday afternoons, so that limits right there who you can get. And he comes in, he actually, the guy that runs it for me, Dan Smith, lives in Newton. And I visit with him each week when he comes in. But it was also before we cut the hours too. When we had to change the location of it, business just went down. You know, so, and then it's not very well. It's in the sub courthouse. A lot of people still at this time don't know that it's there. There's no signage. There's no, you know, we do have signage to put out, but it's always been an issue of where can we put it. We have that here also.
It's gonna be hard when we get budget time to talk about increasing hours if we don't know how many people visiting or what frequency, you know, because I'm in and about and I don't see anyone there. Just being candid with you. I mean, we need data.
I know that it's not, that there's not that many people going in there, and he will say that too. It's worth more than being open 8 hours a week. When I submitted it again for a budget proposal this past year, I think I tried to get it to 24 hours, 3 days a week. Either Tuesday morning or Thursday afternoon, they're limited. Does that mean they're going to go through the door? No. We never know from day to day what we're going to have over here. Either it's a hit or miss. We have dogs today, and we have a dog yesterday. But, you know, but we do have a big number coming through here. But I cannot tell you that. I'm not asking for a budget increase right now. I'm just making a statement that I've made throughout this time that we had a significant cut there. We do not have the operating hours, and so he is going to. What it would be if we opened it up 16 or 24 hours.
Well, I you know, listening to that, I can understand, you know, the busy world that we live in today, that I've got to figure out, along with everything else, I got to figure out what hours or what day, evening, 1 or 2 hours here and there. It would be a problem, a hassle to try and, you know, but versus being open every afternoon for, say, 2 to 6 or whatever, that would be so easy, you know. And that's what my big question, I was listening to Bubba, my big question was, what did it really dramatically change from the full time or the before until now? Did the cutting hours really, and having just those 1 or 2 little specified days, did that really make the difference, a bit large difference? we didn't have a whole lot of people coming before.
Well, what happened, we flooded totally in 2016. So then you had a 2-year gap before they started rebuilding it, where we lost a lot of people, and a lot of people in that area moved. And so then when you rebuilt it, you have to rebuild that rapport with those people that are back there again. So you can't really compare it that way, but when it opened again, did it have as many people as before? No. No. So, but I would also like to, when I was going to get to stand up here, I found something that meant a lot to me, because I sat across from somebody not very long ago that looked at me and just said, "Miss Stephanie, I am not a reader," meaning he had no use for the library. And what my response back was, well, then I feel sorry for you, and that you think that that's all the library is at this point. It used to be. It used to be about a book. You think library, you think books, and we have a lot of them. However, what I would like people to start thinking of when they think of the library is where your the amount of people that we have come through our doors asking questions, and phone calls that we get asking questions, the offices that we talk back and forth with, where they send, I point to Nikki because we deal with people that come through her, and also with the clerk's office, because we have paperwork that they send them over to do. So we're working in a community that's information based. It's not necessarily a book. So I found something that said, they say you can't judge a book by its cover. Increasingly in the United States, you also can't judge a library's value just in our community. And that's what I keep trying to reiterate to people. We need to be relevant and understand that we are not just about books, and you don't have to be a reader, but if you are, we can cover you on that too. So anyway, I just wanted to say that we appreciate the support that we do get. We try to make it as relevant as we can in the community in every way that we can with the programs that we offer. And we're always trying to look for new ways. We've got a thing tonight on stress. Library at 5:30. This program for you. It's free.
The library also offers internet to people that do not have access to internet. They can come in and send their resumes, look for a job, partner with, there's a lot of services that people don't know about.
Does the school advertise that? We sure the school advertise that? All the classes ought to be advertising that. I mean,
I understand years ago, those computers used to be full every day, because people did not have access to their phones or their technology that they have now. So a lot of people don't come in. The children don't come in for that, but the adults do. We have a lot that do come in, and it's not just those that don't have any money. We have some that they don't have any ink, so they come in and use our printers. So we fax, we copy, we scan, we email.
about our big sign out there? Do we ever put anything on there about the library? That's
all right.
Just got to.
So moving on along, I need a motion to approve the library's annual report.
Make that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner White. Second by Commissioner Benson. All in favor? All against? Motion's passed. All right, move to item number 7. Discuss and consider action on resolution adopting or reaffirming procedures for civil rights, equal opportunity, and fair housing as required for the Texas Community Development Block Grant Program. And that's Mr. Mark Taylor.
Commissioners, as the agenda item stated, these documents do pertain to civil rights, equal opportunity, and fair housing. These documents are required by Texas Department of Agriculture in conjunction with the grant the county just received. This is reaffirmation of these procedures. The county has adopted these many years back. They were last reaffirmed in 2021. They do require that they be reaffirmed periodically, partially so they just have the record. Change on here in conjunction with grant programs. Anyone that feels that their civil rights, equal opportunities, have been compromised in any way, they do have the opportunity to complain. That's part of what these documents relate to. If someone wants to complain, who do they complain to? We did update the information as far as who they reach out to here in the county if they have any complaints associated with that. Several documents here. I'll be glad to go into detail on any of these if any of you would like. I don't want to take up your time if you're comfortable.
All right. I am comfortable with the document. Anybody have a question on these?
I'll make that motion.
All right, motion made by Commissioner. Second by Commissioner White. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? All right, and all right, item number 9 is receive presentation, discuss.
8.
Oh, missed number 8, trying to move on. Item number 8 is discuss and consider proclaiming May as Fair Housing Month and authorize the posting. Public service announcement.
There again, Judge, this is customarily done, even when there's not an opportunity out there. It's not uncommon for a municipality or a county to annually or semi-annually recognize a month as Fair Housing Month. This does make part of your fair housing requirements in conjunction with grant administration. Not only the grant through Department of Agriculture, but as well as grants to the Texas General Land Office.
So I need a motion to proclaim May as Fair Housing Month.
Make that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner White,
I second.
second by Commissioner Benson. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Motion passed. All right, now we get to item number 9. Receive presentation, discuss and consider Section 3 requirements for TXCDBG grant.
There again, Judge, this is in conjunction with the current grant to the Department of Agriculture. Section 3 policy is one of the requirements of HUD. When money comes down from HUD, both the Texas Department of Agriculture and the Texas General Land Office. Section 3 policies and adherence to Section 3 is one of their requirements. Kind of the short and the sweet of it, I think there's 12 slides here. But Section 3 pertains to employment opportunities for low and moderate income individuals. This is something that to a contractor. We sit down with that contractor, we discuss Section 3 opportunities with them, make them aware that if they are going to be hiring any individuals on the project within Newton County, that they do include moderate and low income individuals in that search for individuals. It is not mandated that they have to hire a low income, but they are encouraged to seek those people out and see if they meet the qualifications for the job description. One of the requirements is that they cover an area of basically.
Okay. And I did see a target area for.
Yes, sir. The last thing on here, there should be a map that shows the target area that they would be reaching out to in conjunction with that. Once again, if they did need to hire any additional individuals for that project.
Okay. Thank you. So I guess we need a motion to accept Section 3 grant. Motion made by Commissioner Pomby.
Second.
Second by Commissioner White. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark. All right, item number 10 is discuss and if appropriate, approve interlocal agreement between Newton County and the Texas Division of Emergency Management. And what this interlocal agreement is, so they've hired our county liaison officer. So the agreement office space for our liaison officer. And we have a copy of the agreement for everybody to look over.
Do you have a list of job duties, roles, and responsibilities for this person?
They haven't made one yet. So
Do we supplement any funding for this job?
it's all paid for through the state. Basically,
Basically, are we supplying the office, when you're putting him at the old hospital?
yes.
Correct.
Basically, we're supplying them office and the utilities for the office.
They don't work for us, he just helps us.
Yeah, he's in a support role for the county. You know, some counties they're having good results. Other counties feel like they're coming. And it's just the state's way of coordinating all their recovery efforts.
He's here now?
Yes. His name is Jordan.
Sure.
Good luck with that.
Hartshorn, that's it.
You need to be at Commissioner's Court, man.
He, next meeting, John couldn't be here today, but he's gonna come and introduce him to everybody. But John Cleveland wanted to do it, so.
You can't pronounce me.
He's a real energetic guy, ready to get a bunch of started. So motion's made by Commissioner Conley.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner White. All in favor? All against? Motion's passed. All right, item number 10 is discussing if appropriate, or item number 11. Discussing if appropriate, approve extending for consulting services with Whit O'Brien LLC. Now, I know your name is on it, but the contract expires May the 24th. And they are our contractor we have the option of extending the contract for 1 year. You know, their contract is for debris monitoring, debris pickup, if there's a disaster. And we can extend it for 1 year without having to go out for proposals for another contract.
I have a question. So there was I attended court last year and there was some questions about us not having all the documentation for a storm that happened up around Toledo Bend. Remember about the highway patrol in front and then we didn't have everything we needed. Is that not what this company's responsible to track? So it says debris pickup, debris monitoring, debris pickup. So what does that mean exactly?
So on the tear downs for the houses,
Okay.
you know, they monitor the tear down and the cleanup of the state on the demos for the house. Now, if there's a storm, you know, there's a lot of debris on the ground. They're the debris cleanup company as far as storm damage.
Well, that's what I just asked.
But see,
They're not the debris contractor. They're
No,
I didn't.
I'm not asking that. So when we pick up debris and we hire somebody to come in and pick up, I mean, you know, Red Watson up in Burkeville done some of this for us, and there were some questions about, well, how much did you pick up, what have you? Is this company the ones that are responsible for this much, checking the box, you know? So where did this company drop the ball last year? Or whenever that storm, is this?
They didn't. They wasn't here.
How long have they been our debris monitors? Now they can be here for 5 years. Do what?
21.
I've seen some stuff dated back from 2019.
What's the difference? That's Thompson's property.
So,
We've had Thompson and Whit O'Brien. And on top of that, the state, if you're talking about Toledo Bend, we turned in a STAR request that picked up Hurricane Laura. So the state took care of all saying that.
Okay, so I guess where I'm going with this is, before I just say, yeah, let's renew them, I want to make sure that that whole issue wasn't because something they didn't do.
They had nothing to do with it.
Okay.
No, 'cause I don't think that
TxDOT took care of all that.
yeah, Red
TxDOT
Washington
paid for all
didn't
that.
take care of
Right,
that.
I just want to make sure that it wasn't associated with this group.
No, it's totally different. If we wouldn't, let me tell you, if we wouldn't have sent in a STAR request for that early on, that debris more than likely would still be sitting on the side of our county roads. Because we didn't meet the threshold to receive any type of federal assistance.
Yeah.
So we, the county, would have took that on ourselves, wherever it was, but we sent in a STAR request.
So these folks will actually, if we have a storm, they're going to monitor what we pick up, put in the truck and haul away.
That's correct.
But for that event, they didn't,
Correct.
because we had someone else.
That's if we meet the threshold.
Yeah, the threshold is the issue.
Okay, they didn't monitor that because we didn't meet the threshold.
Right.
But what I'm saying from a
Favor.
vote here.
We've been satisfied with it.
DRC is the debris removal guy.
Yeah.
And then he expires on July 11th. We'll have to go back out for bids.
And he's coming on the
DRC.
16th,
Yeah, both of them are.
16th at 1 o'clock. Well, DRC said they couldn't make it the 22nd, so I scheduled them for the 16th. But we're gonna put out for the guy who used to be emergency manager of Jefferson County.
So this action item here, this is,
Just to renew our contract, it's got one
And
more
so we're
year.
gonna post it as for a workshop.
Because the 16th, we're going to have.
Yes, DRC is coming.
Go ahead, bro.
But that's DRC.
Yes,
Widow Bryan is still coming on the 22nd, right?
I'm not sure on what O'Brien, but I know DRC is coming on the 16th. And, Gary just said that they're both coming at the same time.
Well, we had them scheduled for.
Well, the guy from DRC called, he couldn't make it on the 27th.
That was this morning.
They called this morning.
Well, let's don't get let's don't get confused here. Hurricane Laura had nothing to do with Widow Bryan.
Yes.
TxDOT picked up, they monitored, they disposed of it, they done all that. Didn't cost us a dime, didn't cost the county a dime. Widow Bryan is the one that we have contracted with doing the demos on the purchases of the buyout. If we would have had a disaster, they would have been our monitoring, if we would have met the threshold. We are renewing the contract today for them to remain for the demos that we have not tore down yet.
Yes.
That we're going to work on hard to try to get them done. In 1 year, though, we'll have to go back out for a new procurement
Yes.
on debris monitoring.
This is
also.
just, the 1 year
Yes.
renewal.
Right.
But during the 72-hour push, which Red Watson and them did, because they don't. During the state of an emergency. I think that was
that was my question.
Okay, yeah, first 72 hours, no problem. But basically, Bubba, when the first 72 hours, you just clear the road. You're actually not picking up anything.
It's just clearing.
You're just trying to get it all out of the road when you move.
Yeah, I just remember a big discussion about paying somebody and didn't have the paperwork, get refunded.
First
I just
72, that was the
I
first
just
72
wanted to
hours.
make sure this company wasn't responsible for that before I voted. I'm clear.
Okay, so I need a motion to approve the year with Widow Bryan Incorporated.
I make that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Benson. Second by Commissioner White. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? All right, item passed. Item number 12, is discussing if appropriate approved to conduct a public hearing on county clerk records and archive written records for the fiscal year 2023-2024 as approved to advertise and regular commissioner's court. Okay, and that's Ms. Angel.
We advertised this as required, we ran it through the newspaper, I don't have the exact dates, but it was ran through the newspaper, and we've not received any public comment in office, we've not received any calls about this, and it's available in our office to view, should the public have any. But I'm not aware of any comments or concerns through the public as far as the public hearing. For our plan.
So.
So is this something we do every year, every 2 years? What is this?
It's, it should be updated every year. The district and county clerks are required to have an updated plan as to what we would do with this dedicated funds. And this plan allows us to be able to spend those funds for reserve. We're trying to get everything caught up and brought up as far as special elected commissioners minutes. There's a lot of gaps in previously. For instance, we don't have an index between the 40s and the 70s. When Ms. Candy took over to her Galloway, she started in the 70s, and that's a 30-year gap that you have to read page by page, sentence by sentence to try to find something. So we've got our clerk that is full-time now working to bring those into the computer, and we can do, we're making that one. It's called the OCR, optical character recognition, because they are typed. It will eventually be able to pull up. We can just type in a query and it will pull it up, and we're working to do that. And it's a lot of records, so it's slow going, but we're looking to get our indexes and things like that on it for everybody.
I make the motion that we approve county clerk's record management and archives.
This is made by Commissioner Powell,
I said,
second by Commissioner Benson. All in favor? All against? Thank you, Ms. Angel.
take it back up there.
And that was for number 12.
Yeah.
And then number 13. Number 12 was for the public hearing.
All right, number 13 is discuss and if appropriate, accept and approve county clerk's record management, record archives, written plan for fiscal year 2023 and 2024.
Did you have something?
No.
Make that motion.
Motion is made by Commissioner Powell,
Second.
second by Commissioner White. All in favor? All against? So, here's our signed copy. All right, item number 14, discuss and if appropriate, extend the Hurricane Laura disaster declaration.
Make that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner White,
Second.
second by Commissioner Benson. All in favor? All against? Motion's passed. And item number 15, same thing, discuss and if appropriate, extend the COVID-19 disaster declaration until June the 13th. Now, Greg Abbott has extended the COVID declaration, even though President Biden and WHO has declared it over. So as long as Governor vote on it.
I make that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Pomby.
Second.
Second by Commissioner White. All in favor? All against? All right, motion's passed. All right, now we come to item number, payment of bills. I need to pass it on. This is item number 13, so we save that for last. Yes.
$520.84. District Attorney State Fund, $433.93. Commissioner Special Precinct 1, $6,457.12. Commissioner Special Precinct 2, $3,987.91. Commissioner Special Precinct 3, $16,407.81. Commissioner Special Precinct 4, $3,951.77. Record preservation, $330.65. $59.94. Newton County Library, $1,751.22. Historical operating, $310. Records management, $453.40. For a total of all funds, $104,564.59.
Can I ask you a question? You might not have my answer. How are we looking for the fiscal year?
Well, the judge and I are fixing to sit down. We are looking better than we were last year. And go through each line item, each fund number, and do projections for his. And I'd like to sit down with you commissioners and do the same. Pretty much you guys have assistants that are tracking your costs. You pretty much know where you're sitting, but I'm going to sit down with the judge and go over all the general funds.
Thank you.
So let me ask
But last year at this time, we had $3 million in the general fund. This year we have $5 million in the general fund.
So let me ask you, if the county had a PO system, would you have to sit down with the judge and try to figure out?
Every day. Right now, we're having to do projections, but if we had a PO system, we would have a committed cost for every purchase at that time. When you ordered something, it would go in the PO system, we would have a committed cost. Right now, we do not have that.
And
I have to wait for, sorry, Commissioner, but I have to wait, and I'm going to use an example with Philip White. Philip White bought a piece of equipment back 2 years ago. His invoice never made it to my office for one solid year. Finally, the vendor called me one day. Hey, I got an invoice. So I called out to Philip White's office, and they had never received it. It went to the wayside. But that vendor did call, and it was like $49,000 for the piece of equipment. So for 1 year, he was thinking he was better than he was in his cost. And I had no idea on the auditor's office that piece of equipment would be purchased. So if we had a PO system, things like that would not happen. And I wasn't just throwing Philip out there. That happens in all different precincts. Where he rented a piece of equipment. He had not received an invoice. They sent it to an employee that's no longer with our company, with the auditor's office, and just so happened I'm getting that employee's email. But if I wouldn't have been getting that email, I would have not even known that that invoice was out there. So that's why it's very important that we look at purchasing systems and putting it in place.
And to go with that, I still go through emails from employees that's no longer with Precinct 4, and we've got just recently, and it's nobody's. I would say it's more the vendor's fault than anyone's in the counties, because if Tick owes me money, I'm not going to wait a year, or but when they wait that long, what happens to us is we sit there with this money in the fund, and you look at it now. We do a good job in Excel spreadsheet, but we're tracking it and saying we got more costs. Anyways, we need a PO system.
Yeah, we do need one. And just so happened, the company is a big, it was a big vendor that Philip bought that piece of equipment. And she had found several, and when he called me that day, he said I had come across several different big purchases from different counties that have been just, those the wayside. I mean, I'm talking over a year old, wasn't it, Philip? It was like, and Philip had went through 2 assistants at that time, so, and it went to one assistant's email and it didn't, so.
No, it didn't go to any email.
Email?
It actually, they were mailing it to the Google address.
Right, so that's where the problem was.
And they got a new guy, that was his.
So, only question I
I need
got
you to
is,
sign that.
what about,
I need you to sign that.
what about Ms. Barber?
Miss Barbara, I talked to her this morning.
Okay,
She-
so I see we still paying her.
Yes, she is
Okay.
still, she is a CPA and she's still going through our,
21?
yes. Well, 21 should be finished up. We're waiting on, you want to give the status update?
Milton sent a bill,
He sent the bill, but we
but he
have
said
not
it
sent
should
it.
be.
And I'm not paying that bill until I get
No,
to
we're
the
not paying it
clearinghouse,
till we
because it's
get
not on the
the-
clearinghouse at this point.
I mean, the only thing I've got is that paper that we sent, that he sent us all with the findings.
Yeah, well, we're still waiting for the clearinghouse. for
Well,
it to-
did we hire her for 22?
She's was just hired, I think we,
21.
yeah, she's just, there's no year on hers, for her. There's no year.
So let me ask you,
She's just
back,
assisting with the,
It should be.
yeah. Well, I don't think it's on there. Because we looked at that.
so as we go forward in this budgeting process,
We don't have an outside auditor hired for 22. That's something that's got to go to Commissioner's Court next month, or at the end of this month, to go out for bids for 2022 auditor. We don't have one.
I know. That's what I say, why would Barbara be working on 22 when we don't even have an auditor?
Well, we were still finishing up some 21 stuff, items, is what we were
That's
doing.
what I asked.
Yeah,
Was she working on
yeah,
21?
yeah. Okay.
All right,
I guess what I was saying is, you talked earlier, or last year to the court, I recall a meeting, you said something about counties are gonna be required to have a CPA review.
Yes, they have to sign off on the audit. Barbara and I both had to sign off on our audit this year. CPA, which I'm not a CPA, so therefore she had to sign off as a CPA, but she.
And that's gonna be standard county.
What they're talking about.
Yeah, I'll make,
all right, that's what I was fixing. I need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make it.
Motion made by Commissioner Benson, second by Commissioner White, all in favor? Hallelujah.
Oh. Let's stay here till
Didn't make the motion to pay the bills, we need a motion.
Oh, we need a motion to pay the bill.
I'll make that motion.
What, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, we pay the bill.
Sign this.
Okay, what is this one right here? We need to sign that one next, right?
Go on into our emergency
We
meeting.
can do that, and, no,
No, you guys.
We got a meeting at 1:30.
You have to post it 2 hours before you have it.
With GLA.
No, two, but we got emergency meeting 1:30,
sign
somebody.
these for
You
March.
post it.
We got a meeting 1:30.
All
Well,
right, with
When
this,
did 2 hours?
Did you post that?
I thought we were supposed to do it.
That's right,
He didn't talk, how come?
I wasn't called.
an emergency meeting?
How come he wasn't called?
Thanks, sir.
Yes, sir.
Fair enough.
Which one to get that? I'm getting old.
You need a,
Let me get,
County clerk.
well, Angel will know.
okay, do I need to sign this?
Yes. 2 hours
Hey,
or
Mark,
now?
down there at Bleachwood, you had meatloaf, fresh mashed
They
potatoes,
posted it earlier,
beans.
2 hours ago.
won't cost you a dime.
Not, I got here.
Meatloaf and homemade mashed.
oh, I hear you. Yes, sir.
I get with you.
That's
Okay.
Randy. So
He knows I'm.
information,
Okay.
Is it on here?
it's not on there.